get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Hey, Thrive Loud listeners, Lou Diamond here. This is one of my favorite interviews with an amazing author and leadership expert, John C. Maxwell, who I interviewed at the beginning of 2019. His new book at the time, Leadership, came out, and we discussed a whole bunch of concepts around leadership and his thoughts about it and where leadership is going, the importance of connecting with it. However, the one part of the interview I really enjoyed was asking him, when he has trouble thriving, the practice that he goes through to get himself back on the thriving track. And some of the key things that he's observed that leaders need today. A real cool conversation with a legend in the space. So enjoy this Thrive Loud Minisode with John C. Maxwell.
Yeah, I'll say this. I've come across many of your graduates, for lack of a better word, of those who've gone through your leadership, and I've heard you speak. And, you know, it's great to see that you've created others that have really done a great job of echoing the values that you preach and speak about. And you have such a nice, warm, welcoming way of speaking and connecting. So I do great. Hey, when you do what you do best, and to recognize that, that's what great leaders do.
And they do better than me, Lou. They really do. And when I look at what they're doing, I'm thinking, no, I couldn't do it that good. They do better, and I'm grateful for them, all of them.
So I love asking this question to all the guests that come on the program, John, and that is, we all have off days, even as successful and amazing as you are as a writer, a speaker, and a leader. When you personally have trouble thriving, who or what practice do you seek to help get yourself back on the thriving track?
Well, you're right. I have those days. In fact, I had them a couple of days ago. I'm finishing up a book, and usually in December, January, I always write a book because I'm less on the road then, and it's a good time to knock one out. So a couple of days ago, I wasn't writing well. I would write it, and I was flat. I just was really flat. And I have a 3-step process that helps me, whether it's a leadership bump or a kind of a writing fog, whatever it might be described as. But I have a kind of a 3-step process. And the first thing I do is I just back up. I just back off. I just say I need to take an hour. Just take an hour break. Maybe swim a little bit, or read a little bit, or take Margaret to lunch, or whatever. Just do something totally that has nothing to do with what I'm trying to accomplish, because I'm too close to it. I'm just too close. I need to get away from the thought of it and just kind of mellow out. So that's the first thing I do. The second thing I do is while I'm backing away, I'm saying to myself, there's always an answer. And I believe this with all of my heart. There's always an answer. There's always an answer. Now, I know a lot of people who don't have answers, but there's always an answer. And I believe that for myself. Another way to maybe put it, Lou, is there's always a way. There's always a way. There's always a way. I haven't found it yet, but there's always a way. Me knowing that keeps me in the game.
I like that.
So, this is huge for me. So, when I'm struggling, I may be, here's the difference. I may be struggling with the act of leading or the act of writing, but I'm not struggling emotionally, because there's a way, and I know that. And so it keeps me emotionally strong in the game, even when my mind and my behavior or my words or my actions just aren't producing like they need to. It just keeps me in the game. So, after I get far enough away to kind of see a perspective that's a little bit different than close up, I began to go back, John, there's always an answer. There's always a way. And the third thing that I do then is if I'm still stuck, is I call a couple friends and just say, talk me through this. Help me out. I seem to be stuck, and they'll just kind of be patient with me, and maybe an hour or two, and I'm through it, and I'm back in the game.
Love it.
I'm not out long. Because those 3 things get me back in fairly soon.
So I'll put a whole bunch of plugs at the end of the loop here. So I'll let everyone know about Leadershift, and we'll talk about obviously all the places they can find that, and we'll put that at the program. Thanks. I've got a quick 2-question wrap up here. And I'm just curious out of my own mind on this one. John, you speak, you write, and you philosophize, for lack of it. You come up with the ideas. If you get one day to pick one of the 3 things in that leadership component of the creativity, the actual writing, or the speaking and delivering the message, which is your favorite of the 3?
Creativity, no doubt. It feeds everything. It feeds. I think the greatest Achilles heel for leaders is they're action oriented. They don't give themselves time to think. And, they got a lot of great thoughts in them, but they just got to give it a little time to get them out. And so I think my creativity is the fuel. It's the fuel for my writing. It's the fuel for my speaking. It's the fuel for my company as far as opportunities and ideas. And, it's if I can only have one thing, I'm going to do that. What I love about my work, Lou, is the fact that when I'm in my speaking tour, kind of like, I get a little travel weary, and so I can hardly wait to get home. And then I get home and I write like I've been doing for the last 2 months, and I'm getting antsy to get back out. And it's kind of nice. Whatever I'm doing, I'm loving doing it, but I'm going to get a break and do something else, within a few weeks usually. But every day I spend thinking time every day. No matter where I am, I spend some time thinking, creating.
We hope you enjoyed this interview with John Maxwell. To go get a copy of his latest book, Leadershift, 11 Essential Changes Every Leader Must Embrace, head on over to leadershiftbook.com. We'll provide the links in the show notes, and from there you can get the new book, which comes out on February 5th, 2019. Again, that's leadershiftbook.com from John Maxwell.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Thrive Loud. Or find us on the web at thriveloud.com.